Now, if this doesn't show just how soft people are becoming, I don't know what will. This is a very dangerous precedent to set, by the way. A firearms officer who was suffering from depression was asked by superiors if he was mentally resilient enough to shoot somebody dead after the softie had already spent 20 months off, ill with depression. Now, I can't imagine how that's an issue. It's one of the basic functions of the firearms units, but oh, how wrong I was. As a tribunal judge has ruled, it was a bad thing to ask someone who routinely carries a weapon and who must be in a fit mental state in order to do so, and also be able to actually pull the trigger should the need arise. I mean, God forbid the next person to go for a job of being a lifeguard gets asked if they can actually swim, or a driving instructor's asked if to prove they've got a driving licence in order to teach others. Thomas Williams, no image I guess because of his poor fifis, worked for the MoD unit that was charged with safeguarding and protecting the SAS at Hereford Barracks. Seems like a bit of a waste of time and resources to me, seeing as the SAS is supposed to be the best and most elite unit on the planet. Surely a policeman couldn't protect them half as well as they could protect themselves. Anyway, Williams developed depression in mid-2017 and ended up being on sick pay for almost 2 years. During his time off, senior officers questioned him as to his fitness to return to work and when he thought he might be going, so far as to discuss with him changing careers to something that he could actually do. Again, nothing wrong with that if you ask me. I think it's obvious that he wouldn't get it so cushy elsewhere, as they would likely have filled his role before 20 months. It was said in a final meeting between Williams and senior officers, where Williams was finally dismissed, that his Deputy Chief Constable demanded to know when he could return back to work and asked about his readiness to use lethal force. I think the fact he was sacked shows he probably answered with, "I don't know." Following his dismissal, Williams sued the MoD for discrimination based on his disability. A tribunal was held and it was determined that police bosses had created an intimidating and humiliating environment, and that he had been subjected to a line of questioning that an officer with a similar physical impairment would not have been. Now, this I don't understand. Why do they think that someone else with a mental disability wouldn't have been asked the same questions? Sounds pretty standard to me for someone who is meant to carry a weapon with them and use it if the need arises, so how can this be anything but standard? Now, America started the claim craze, if I remember rightly, suing everyone and everything possible before it snuck in over here, but this is incredible. The tribunal awarded Williams, after finding that he had been discriminated against, £22,000 for, I quote, injury to feelings, unquote. Not shooting his finger off or shooting himself in the foot, not bruising himself with the weapon's recoil, but for a boo-boo on his fifis. I'm not trying to trivialise depression. I have it, it's horrible and debilitating. However, if I was employed as a chef, as in my normal work, and I had suffered severe depression for almost 2 years, and my boss asked me if coming back to work, being around all those knives was going to be a problem, I wouldn't take it as anything more than a reasonable question. I certainly wouldn't cry about it to a tribunal like Thomas Williams here. An armed officer who guards and protects the SAS, and he pissed his pants over being asked if he was fit to do his job. I simply cannot find anything wrong with that, and now, because of some woke tribunal judge, another 22 grand of public money is being splashed out on somebody's hurt feelings. What a joke.